Hello, everybody. I'm Anna K. Morris, Chief of Sparkle at We Play Everywhere, and I am beyond excited to be joined with Naomi Hardy, Naomi J. Hardy. I don't know if I need to use the J. I'm assuming I do.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get that. I use Anna K. Morris, so I don't know what the J stands for, but I'm excited and I'll honor that.
Okay.
So Naomi J. Hardy of Reclaim the Romance, and we're talking about foreplay. So, if you're under 18 years old or you know you're not supposed to be watching this, then turn it off or watch it with a parent. And that could get real awkward for some of you parents. But anyway, I'm really, really excited to be talking to you, Naomi. I know that you are an expert in this field. And if you're wondering where this interview is going, I invite you to stay watching to find out. But here at We Play Everywhere, we really believe that you can play everywhere. And you may be really playing in your personal life, you may be really playing at work, and we're committed that you also play with foreplay and play in the bedroom. And that's what Naomi is going to be talking about. So Naomi, why don't you share with us a little bit about what you do and what your background is so that people know who they're listening to.
Yay! Well, hello, everyone. I am Naomi J. Hardy, and you're right, the J stands for joy, so I always put my J
I love that. Yeah.
Because it reminds me to keep the joy alive.
Yeah.
I have the pleasure of being what I call a real speaker and a real coach. Mm-hmm. It means I focus on romance, empowerment, and love. REL, real speaker.
Okay.
And funny how I came into this, but God works in mysterious ways.
Yes.
My background is human resource management, and I took the liberty to become a certified coach. I took the liberty to understand change management. I'm so crazy about personalities. So when the people came into my office and we closed the doors and we really peeled back the layers of the onion, well, it wasn't, the productivity issues really started with what was going on at home.
Oh, wow.
So I became known as the person to go into the office, close the door, and get your life together at work.
Wow, cool. Okay.
And it got to be so awesome that I actually ended up taking my work home, my HR work home, to do my work so that I could play in the field of relationships at work. Mm-hmm. And what I began to see was an increase in productivity, was a sense of pride and empowerment in employees that we really didn't know what was going on with them. Mm-hmm. But it was amazing once someone cared, once they had someone to kind of coach them along the way, the differences that we saw.
Yeah.
So when my position was eliminated, it was a no-brainer.
Yeah.
And I started giving tips in the bedroom that started leading to empowerment in the workplace, and we realized I was on to something. So
I love that because gosh, I just wonder right now who in my family is watching this. So you're going to learn a lot.
And it is somewhere.
I know, right? I'm like, oh God, is my mother-in-law watching? But it's so true because I think that we think that other things need to happen in order for the bedroom to be great. And I know for sure, like foreplay has the word play in it, right?
Oh my goodness, yes. Foreplay and we cannot forget that.
Yeah.
It's about playing. It's about creating an experience before the actual experience happens.
Exactly. Yeah. And so I couldn't agree with you more. I have to say, like, when we are playing in the bedroom, life works. Like it just works, all of a sudden, like I'm not pissed off having to go to the grocery store. Derek's not irritated going to work at 5 a.m. Like there are no problems.
There are no problems. I call it bodacious love.
Oh, I love that. I love that. So how do you do that? Right? Like how do you help people bring back that sense of playfulness in the bedroom? Because that's that's like the most, that and money and religion and politics, those are kind of like the hot buttons, right?
But the joy is the romance, the empowerment, and the love can trump everything. Okay. You bring it into the bedroom, you declare your bedroom as a place for love. A lot of people don't do that.
Yeah.
Declare your bedroom as the place for love, not the place to sit up and read, not the place to go through coupons, not the place to lay your stuff all over the bed.
Yeah.
It is the place for love.
Mm-hmm.
So you frame it that way, and you go in there knowing it's not going to happen every time,
Right.
but the aura starts to take over.
Yeah.
So it's sending that to the universe. So you go in there and you want to create the experience. It's all about bringing the anticipation before the act, so that when it comes to the act, everything just falls in line. You can do foreplay to the point where when you're in the bed, all you have to do is blow. And we're there. And we're there.
Yeah.
And just remember that it's fun. It's supposed to be fun. Don't overthink it. Be natural. We have this power that we don't even realize, and that's what I help my clients see. What power is laying within you that can transform into your personal relationship, that also gives you empowerment, that makes you feel romantic.
Yeah.
Because when you feel romantic, when you feel empowered, when you feel love, going to a client and hearing a no, it just doesn't hold water.
Yeah.
You're ready to go to the next. You
Right.
become bold in what you offer, and you want to give it to the world. So it's just this rippling effect, and you feel good, and your partner feels good. So
I love that, and I think that it's so frequent that, like, we've got, at least for me, like, I've got all this stuff wrapped up with the bedroom sometimes, just to be totally honest, that, like, it hasn't always occurred playful, right? So I love what you're saying, but I guess to go just a layer underneath that, there are times for me that I'm just like, the last thing that it feels like is playful. It feels like a to-do item, or like I forget that my body is designed this way to bring about pleasure and joy, not just for myself, but for another as well. And yeah, could you say more about that? Because that's something that's really I've been working on.
We suffer from that a lot more often than we think.
Yeah.
So it's not an anomaly. It is not an anomaly at all. And that's one of the things that foreplay can do. It can ease the tension, because it's not always about sex, but it is always about sex. So foreplay doesn't necessarily mean that I have to do a striptease.
Right.
Maybe I can play a card game with you, and if you win, I can give you a treat. It doesn't always have to feel so rushed, so rugged, so consuming.
Yeah.
It can be fun. I once heard, I can share the story about tickling. Okay? About tickling as foreplay. That is definitely foreplay.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Tickling. It arouses the emotion. It gets the senses going.
Yeah.
I even have this one couple, I kid you not, we would go to their house, an older couple, and we would play cards around the table.
Okay.
And the next thing you know, they would start fussing and cursing each other out, and even talking about their dead parents and stuff.
Yeah.
And we're ready to run. We don't know what's about to happen, or the knives about to go out. We realized that was their foreplay.
Oh, okay.
That their argument led to their arousal, which led to their makeup, which led to their awesome relationship.
Okay.
So foreplay happens in different reasons, for different reasons.
Yeah.
It is the experience. It is the arousal that you're looking for. Mm-hmm. And that's not the same with everyone else. And that's when we run into trying to make one tip fit for everyone, and it doesn't.
Yeah. That's really what I hear, because I so resonate with the tickling. I can, we were kind of in a rut, and we were somewhere, I forget, we were on a trip somewhere, and I started tickling Derek when he was brushing his teeth, and like toothpaste is kind of going everywhere, and we're just laughing, and he can't believe that I'm tickling him, and I won't stop. Like, it's so hilarious to me. It was one of the best nights ever.
Exactly.
Yeah, because
that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, well, because I realize that I can be so serious, and like the bedroom, sex, all that stuff can kind of feel like, oh man, just another thing on the to-do list. And I started looking at it from the perspective of like, well, how did I used to be silly and play as a kid? Like, no, I wasn't having sex as a child, but bringing back that element of silliness and playfulness really ignited my own sex life, and just like I didn't have to try to get anything right or do it the right way. I could just be silly and play.
Yes, yes. And part of foreplay is experiencing the joy between each other.
Yeah.
So your husband is seeing you get excited, you're getting excited, he's getting excited, the endorphins are going back and forth, and the next thing you know, you're moving into what I call deeper ground.
I love that. So for people that are watching that are like, this feels so far off from where I'm at, right? Like really, maybe they've got a bunch of kids or a stressful job. Like what's a way that people watching it, I really want people to be able to take action in their own lives as a result of watching this. What are some simple things? I know we've got a tip sheet for everybody watching.
Yes.
So if you send I'll just go ahead and say that now. So if you send an email to Naomi, send in the title, send tips, and then the email address is reclaimtheromance@gmail.com. And she's going to send you the top 10 ways to, top 10 foreplay.
Yes. But when you want to turn it up.
When you want to turn it up. But what's like a thing or two that people watching, could try on or do?
The first thing we want to talk about, and I think you alluded to that, is mindset. Okay, so go in there understanding it's all about fun.
Yeah,
you're going in to have foreplay for fun.
Yeah, I love that.
And then remember, the goal is to lead to sex, but let's dissect sex for just a moment.
Okay.
SEX, that's sex.
Okay.
And one of the biggest problems we're having is that we're not having sex. I have to say that, or else I wouldn't be in business the way I am.
Yeah, no kidding. You would not have a job.
I would be out of a job. But when we talk about sex, it's SEX, and the S is the differentiator.
Okay.
The S stands for sassy. The
Ooh.
S stands for sensual, satisfying.
Okay.
Simple.
Okay.
You take away that S, and what do you have? X. And that's what we find ourselves doing. It's so true. It's
that.
what we find ourselves doing. It's what we find ourselves in when we remove that S from the sex.
Yeah.
So keep it simple, superb, sensational. Remember your S in the sex. Be yourself.
Yeah.
Think of something that you want done to you and tell him or her. You can tell them verbally or non-verbally. Because getting what you want is an excitement in itself.
Yeah.
That's foreplay.
Oh, I love that. Yeah, I mean, it's so true, because there have been times in my life where, there's frustration, or it's like, why don't you know what to do? Why do I have to tell you? And what do you do in that situation?
So
maybe I'm the only
just
one.
Understand, we don't always know.
Yeah.
We're not always adventurous.
Yeah.
There are different types of personalities.
Yeah.
Get to know your mate. Do they like, I'll be blunt, do they like it quick? Do they like it slow? Mix it up a little.
Yeah.
That's what you have to do. I'm going to give you a sheet with tips that you can immediately implement. But the first thing I can say is find out what your mate likes about you and give it to them.
Yeah.
Just that simple.
They
could like your smile. They could like your nose. They could like your eyes. Give them that daring look.
Yeah.
They could like your legs. Show off your legs.
Right. I can't help it. This is such a deep thing, right? And really isn't talked about very much. No. And what I noticed for myself is that, and I was talking to a friend about this yesterday, is that he was saying that somebody was boring. And I said, well, consider that you're boring. And it makes me think of how, like, I'm feeling about myself, and then how that translates in my romantic life, right? Like, I totally hear what you're saying about the adventurous. It's like, when I'm not feeling adventurous in my life, I don't feel adventurous in the bedroom.
That's great. And that's when you can open up the door for your partner to lead. It is the two of you We're not responsible for everything.
Yeah.
It is the two of you. As you get to dive more into foreplay with your mate, my husband, he knows when I'm ready for foreplay. We have given each other permission, and that's something as couples that we forget to do.
Yeah.
Give your husband, give your wife permission to love you. Give them permission to walk up to you and spank you if that's what they need to do.
Yeah.
Give them permission to throw some suds in your face if that's what they need to do to make it lighter.
Right.
Foreplay comes in all types. Pull out the water guns. Pull out the Nerf balls.
Yeah.
Whatever you need to do to create that excitement. Do a puzzle. Do you have those analytical minds?
Yeah.
Do a puzzle that one little thing gets them closer to the quote unquote grand prize, whatever it may happen to be.
I love that because
it's open field.
Yeah, you're really like giving me such a sense of like there's no right or wrong.
There's no right.
Yeah, and I think sometimes I'm like, oh God, I've got to like wear high heels and this stupid lingerie, and no, I would like I I don't love puzzles, but I do love coloring, and so
that's it. So for one client, she said, I want my husband to want me in the morning.
Oh yeah.
Well, why doesn't your husband want me in the morning? Well, his culture feels that you have to be clean, meaning coming out of the shower before sex happens.
Oh.
So if you want it bad enough, this is why I say we have the power.
Yeah.
If you want it bad enough,
take a shower.
Slip out of the bed at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, go in there, take your shower, perfume yourself up, get back in the bed next to him, and have your morning sex. When your husband realizes you're willing to go to that extent to make him happy, you'll be amazed what he'll do to make you happy.
Yeah.
And it's those simple types of things. And needless to say, my client has sex in the morning when she wants to now.
It's so true. Just a simple conversation or like taking actions. I know that one of the fastest ways for Derek and I to have sex is if he does household chores. Like, there is nothing hotter for me than like not having to unload the dishwasher. All of a sudden, he becomes like the most attractive, sexy man I've ever seen in my whole life.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's foreplay. Honey,
I love that.
Plenty.
I know. Okay. Well, and and it's also so true because there are things that he loves about my body that I'm kind of like, really? Like, that's not, like, I don't think that's that great. But when we go out on a date, like, I will make sure that, I play that up a little bit.
Exactly.
Yeah, just because he enjoys it. And it doesn't bother me that much. It brings him pleasure.
Yes. And that's what it's all about. We have to understand that as humans, we give pleasure. We give pleasure. And if we're constantly giving pleasure, guess what? We're constantly receiving.
Oh,
so
I love that.
Just have that conversation with your mate. Create the atmosphere for foreplay, knowing that it's not supposed to happen all the time, but when it's on, it's on. So.
I love it. I think that's the quote of the show is when it's on, it's on.
When it's on.
Awesome. Well, thank you. I have so loved talking to you, Naomi, and I know that people are going to get great value. Just a quick reminder to send an email to Naomi if you want the top 10 ways to foreplay. And it's reclaimtheromance@gmail.com, and write in the title tips. And Naomi, any last words before we sign off for the day?
I just want to say, do not be afraid to enjoy your relationships. You have been given permission to love fully, love lustfully in your committed relationships, and just start experiencing what's there for you to experience. Smile, foreplay, and turn up.
Oh, I love that. Okay. Bye, everybody. Bye, Naomi.
Bye.